On March 1796, France, a nation still struggling to recover from the aftermath of the French Revolution. The monarchy had fallen. King Louis XVI was gone, and the country was filled with uncertainty, instability, and political tension. The army, exhausted, under-resourced, and lacking strong leadership. At this critical moment, the French army was waiting for a new general, a leader who could guide them, not just with authority, but with vision, a leader who could turn weakness into victory. And then he arrived, a young man, just 26 years old, his name, Napoleon Bonaparte. He did not look like a typical general. He was not tall, not physically intimidating. He spoke with a Corsican accent and carried a quiet, almost reserved presence. When the soldiers saw him, some of them smiled, some even laughed. They looked at this young, unknown officer and questioned, "Is this the man who will lead us?" To them, he seemed inexperienced, almost insignificant. But what they didn't realize was that this very man would soon rise to become one of the greatest military commanders in history, a strategist unlike any other, a leader driven by ambition, a man who would reshape Europe itself. But every great story has a beginning, and Napoleon's story begins on a small island in the Mediterranean Sea, Corsica, a rugged land full of resistance and pride. Recently, it had become part of France, and it was here that Napoleon was born. On August 15th, 1769, in the town of Ajaccio, Napoleon Bonaparte entered the world. His father, Carlo Bonaparte, was a lawyer and a political representative. His mother, Letizia Ramolino, was strong, disciplined, and deeply influential. The family had noble status, but very little wealth. Their life was simple and often challenging. As a child, Napoleon was different, quiet, thoughtful, and often alone. He did not enjoy games or social gatherings. Instead, he spent hours reading books about history, great empires, and legendary commanders. Figures like Alexander the Great inspired him, and slowly, a dream began to form. At just 9 years old, Napoleon left Corsica and traveled to mainland France to study at a military academy. It was a new world, new language, new culture, new people, and the transition was not easy. His French was weak, his accent was different, and he came from a poor background. Many students made fun of him. He felt like an outsider, isolated, misunderstood. But instead of breaking, Napoleon focused. He studied mathematics, artillery, military strategy. He spent long nights learning. While others enjoyed their youth, Napoleon was preparing for a future no one else could see. In 1789, France entered a new era. The French Revolution began. The people rose against the monarchy. King Louis XVI was overthrown, and the country descended into chaos, violence, fear, and uncertainty. But where others saw chaos, Napoleon saw opportunity, because in times of crisis, old systems collapse and new leaders rise, and Napoleon was ready. In 1793, Napoleon received his first real opportunity at the Siege of Toulon, a strategic port city in southern France, captured by enemy forces, including the British. Napoleon designed a bold plan, using artillery in a way no one expected. He targeted key positions and slowly turned the battle in France's favor. The victory at Toulon changed everything. At just 24 years old, Napoleon was promoted to Brigadier General, a remarkable achievement and the beginning of his rise. In March 1796, Napoleon was given command of the French army in Italy, a mission that would define his future. But the army he received was weak, hungry, poorly equipped, and low in morale. It looked like an army destined to fail. But Napoleon changed them. He spoke to them, inspired them, promised them victory, and gave them something they had lost: hope. He used speed and surprise and brilliant strategy to defeat much larger armies, winning battle after battle, defying all expectations. Across Europe, leaders were shocked. Who was this young general? How was he winning so easily? Napoleon Bonaparte was no longer unknown. He had become a rising force in Europe. By 1798, Napoleon had already become one of France's most successful generals, but his ambitions were much bigger. He wanted to challenge Britain, the most powerful empire of that time. And for that, he chose Egypt, a land that was not only rich in history, but also strategically important, because controlling Egypt meant controlling trade routes to India. In July 1798, Napoleon arrived in Egypt with his army, marching through the burning desert, facing extreme heat, unknown lands, and new enemies. But Napoleon was confident. He believed this campaign would make him unstoppable. One of the most famous moments came during the Battle of the Pyramids, where Napoleon's army faced the Mamluks. Using disciplined formations and superior strategy, he defeated them easily and proved once again that his brilliance in warfare was unmatched. But the campaign did not go as planned. In the Battle of the Nile, the British Navy, led by Admiral Nelson, destroyed the French fleet, cutting Napoleon off from France. Now, he was trapped in Egypt with no easy way back. Realizing the situation, Napoleon made a bold decision. In 1799, he secretly left his army in Egypt and returned to France, a risky move, but one that would change his destiny. France was still unstable, the government was weak, and people wanted strong leadership. Napoleon saw his moment. In November 1799, he carried out a coup, overthrew the government, and took control, becoming the first consul of France. As first consul, Napoleon began to rebuild France. He improved laws, stabilized the economy, and brought order back to the country. People saw him, not just as a general, but as a leader, a ruler. In 1804, Napoleon took the final step. He crowned himself Emperor of France in a grand ceremony at Notre Dame Cathedral, showing the world that his power came from himself, not from tradition. At the height of his power, Napoleon controlled most of Europe through conquest, alliances, and influence. His empire stretched across the continent, and no one seemed capable of stopping him. But in 1812, Napoleon made a decision that would change everything. He invaded Russia with over 600,000 soldiers, one of the largest armies in history. As Napoleon reached Moscow, he expected victory, but the city was empty, and soon it was set on fire, leaving nothing behind, no food, no shelter. Then came the Russian winter, extreme cold, starvation, disease, and endless suffering. The army that once marched with pride was now struggling to survive. Only a fraction returned. After Russia, Napoleon's power began to fall. His enemies united, and slowly, his empire started collapsing. In 1814, Napoleon was forced to abdicate and sent into exile to the island of Elba. For the first time, he lost everything. But Napoleon was not finished. In 1815, he escaped from Elba, returned to France, and once again regained power. But his final test awaited. At Waterloo, in June 1815, against British and Allied forces, this time, there was no victory. Napoleon was defeated for the last time. He was exiled again, this time far away to St. Helena, a remote island in the Atlantic Ocean, far from power, far from everything. There, on May 5th, 1821, Napoleon Bonaparte died at the age of 51, a man who once ruled Europe, now gone. But his legacy remains. Napoleon was not just a conqueror. He changed laws, created systems, and shaped modern Europe. A man who rose from nothing to become a legend and proved that ambition can change the world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let me know what topic I should cover next in the comments. And if you liked it even a little, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps support this small creator.